sell your soul to the devil. Do gang violence. Go on in, child. Don't be afraid.
Did you see that homeless dude creeping around here? Come on, get in. That dude shits his pants a lot. You don't want to be out here. Excuse me, Father Fu. This lost soul wants to know about the sin that is Saints Row 2022.
Oh, child. You've come to the right place.
Gather round, motherfuckers!
I'm sure you've heard all the rumours, but have you heard the story of Saints Row? As a man with a strong love of Saints Row 1 and 2 and not a complete dogshit for 4...
Daddy, chill.
What the hell is it?
I was gonna go on to Get Out of Hell for my next review, but just a fucking DLC! That can wait. As of late, I've been seeing positive reviews, compliments even, on a game that was royally hated amongst every culture. But is it a good game? Is it just the pile of horseshit that people pass it off as? And as much as people like to say this game is the death of Saints Row, the sales figures for this baby were actually impressive. But the game was no doubt cast into the hole. Now you are listening to someone who tucks Saints Row 2 in at night and gives it a little peck. So when this Saints Row was released, I watched endless YouTube videos on it and came to a strong conclusion. I don't want to give Volition my money. To show the point, I wanted them to go back to the old games, the gangster games, the cool games. And with that having backfired with the high sales in spite of my one less measly sale, and the death of Volition regardless, doesn't seem much point not to try it for myself with the Christmas sale, so this was my first and only playthrough, thank God. And looking at the reviews of Saints Row, I've noticed most people don't really show you how bad the entire story is.
To be honest with you, this game actually got a lot of hate and so a lot of people didn't enjoy it. I'm not really going to say hate because everybody's entitled to their opinion, but a lot of people did not like this, but I'm actually the opposite.
Coward. And considering I'm recording this after their little dialogue fixes.
I told you it's not ready yet.
Honey, just show it to them.
Big, giant, sweaty, dangling horse testes just swinging in the goddamn breeze, knocking back and forth like a pair of motherfucking clappers.
God, son, that's wonderful.
So seeing as these have been removed, I'm excited to see what horseshit they thought was good enough to remain. Now normally I'm a short but snappy guy. Right, ladies? Yeah. But today we're going to dissect this game and take a good look at what made it so hated. Is it just a bad Saints Row? Or is it really just a big old plain bag of shit? So the game opens with a man who's looking to make a deal with the Saints, who are already built up and booming, baby. I mean, it's not a party a normal person would say looks fun, but it is indeed a party. After we meet Briefcase Man, we get a cringe TikTok moment, literally 30 seconds in. That then leaves me being buried alive while having flashbacks to a moment I haven't seen yet. I don't know, it's just really weird way to start the game. It would have been more simple to just start on a mission like the previous games instead of making this weird, unappealing backstory of moments you haven't seen and look frankly fucking depressing. Compare that to the opening of Saints Row 1, which straight away throws you in that purple ditch of drugs and gangs and we all know and love. And no, I wasn't gonna miss talking about the customization. Whew, man, this thing... It's not too bad, actually. It's not that bad. There's a lot of shit to choose from. You've got the old sliding bar for the faces and pretty much everything, which typically says you can't go wrong with it. It's not nearly as goofy as the last couple of games' customization menus. There's still some touches there, but compared to the monstrosity dick gripper I had on Saints Row 3, not really the same, is it?
This person doesn't know what the hell he's doing.
I just made me. And it's fairly close. Not too many complaints. The variety's there if you want to pretend to go to the gym and have a bigger dick, or just want to go straight boobage. It's all doable. I'm not a massive customization dude, so if you think you're going to get a full in-depth review and intense look on the vein slider, it ain't happening. Go look elsewhere. Who the fuck asked for vein? But the music in the background of any customization, oh my god, just play the radio, man. What the fuck is this? And I'm not giving that any compliments either. I didn't mind it for the first 3 minutes. The next 6 to 7 minutes, unbearable. Ugh, sounds like a harmony of men coming. Clothing is decent on variety, but there are that many small stores that sell a handful of items that the effort to go around and find a decent outfit is downright tiring. With a hipster vibe that this game carries, you don't get the same feeling as the previous installments.
It's our time now. Let's get this shit started.
Who messes with the Saints?
No one!
I said, who messes with the Saints?
No one.
As when wearing purple would actually be a thing. No matter how much of a sex offender my character looked, he was the leader of the Saints. Purple cars, purple clothes, that was the fucking way, baby. And that was never really forced on you by the game. It was just something I think most players went along with, as it was fucking cool. You actually felt like you're in the Saints.
Just hanging around.
In this game, the difference between the characters and style influence is embarrassing, frankly. They don't even really look like gang members. Still optional styles for your gangs, but look how shit this is! As I said, it doesn't really matter much. We then start the mission with how the story probably should have started anyway, by performing a task for the private security agency thing, the Marshals, who's run by, you'd have guessed it, Mr. Marshall.
Technologically advanced weapons, loose morals, and a culture of conflict.
The advert does give you a little touch of Saints Row with the humour, so I'll actually give it a pass. But don't be thinking you'll see tons of these. I mean, to simplify it, it's Ultor. It's just a redneck, more militarized Ultor. But then we meet Gwen, your squad leader, the second forgettable character in this game who can't help but remind us we should have died in the interview.
The odds were low that you would die before we hired you.
We'll touch more on the dialogue and the characters later because it gets dramatically worse as the game goes on. And it is the first mission. Most of this mission consists of shooting bad guys with a mask in a theme park because that's what people like, isn't it? Or being yelled at by Gwen because she's the badass boss girl who's in charge.
Now that's not... You are damn lucky we don't have time to argue.
It's very forgettable as an opener, and just comes across as something The Rock would fucking star in. Two painful things within the first 5 minutes of gameplay screamed out at me. The aiming. I'm using mouse and keyboard. A controller for the driving. The aiming is so fucking flat on both the controller and the mouse and keyboard.
Aiming is ass.
Why is there auto aim on a mouse and keyboard too? I've never fucking seen that in my life. Maybe I'm a little boo-boo baba, who fucking knows, but auto aim on a mouse. The other painful thing is when you see anything explosive, typically in a normal game where the average player doesn't have to pad up and wrap themselves in bubble wrap every time they leave the fucking house, you would look at it, aim and shoot. Makes sense. Pretty easy. Somehow this has been made easier. By clicking E, your character aims and shoots at it for you. Usually I wouldn't really mention how weird this is, but the amount of explosives just within the first 30 minutes of the game, it really should become a day of fucking remembrance. At the end of the mission, we meet Nuwali, possibly the only somewhat memorable character.
Then respect this. You set 1 foot on those stairs.
Somehow gets that jet, which now takes ages to set off, only for us to crash back into the same spot. Just like that, we're making
Is this a joke?
Oh.
Can you really look me in the eyes and say I didn't do well?
I can look you in the eyes and say you didn't do what you were told.
Okay, so the dude who took down a small army and a jet with the most wanted terrorist is now not being paid, and he's just cool with that. Leader of the Saints, baby. When we get back to the apartment that somehow, even with 4 people splitting the rent, are struggling to fucking afford.
I don't have to love it. I have to pay my student loans.
Cringe! You meet the main crew of the future Saints, who have got to be the most cringe-inducing group of characters I've ever seen. Every cutscene with them is almost like a sitcom that didn't last more than 2 seasons.
Swear to God, this lady walked right off the set of an 80s action movie. I was half expecting her to call me Rook and threaten to take my badge.
The type of humour a 45-year-old woman might find funny. There's woman who loves her car, but her friends more. Topless dude who doesn't wear a shirt. Oh, what a goof. A nerd black guy who knows all about the figures. I said figures. These are the 3 main captains of the game, replacing Pierce, Shaundy, and Johnny. It's upsetting, I guess you could say. Nina is with the Santeros gang, Kevin is with the Idols, and Eli is just some dorky black guy. And a cat. Snickerdoodle's the cat. Man, what I wouldn't give for one of these motherfuckers to end up like Carlos. Seeing this group of characters after having established better characters already just pisses me off. A reboot, understandable. From Saints Row 4, there's nowhere to really go with the story. But these? Holy shit, how the fuck would these fellas handle Mero, Mr. Sunshine, an old Asian man? They'd be cooked. My biggest struggle with this review after finishing the game was, where the fuck do you start with this mess? I'll dive into character development when I see it, but it just seems to be, yeah, I'm good with money and business. You're poor, man! I wear no shirt and like cooking. He cooks fucking waffles! I like cars, and I don't know what else she really likes. She's really fucking bored. And they all just love coffee and a swell time.
You have a job now. You could actually just take the loan.
Eli, I don't do business with morally bankrupt companies.
You work for Marshall. Brunch is a time for friends and mimosas, not debates on morale.
So now after the highest relatability, lowest effort writing I've heard, we decide to rob a payday loan shop. Almost sounds like a bit of Saints Row, doesn't it? But the mission is essentially a cutscene followed by showing you the driving mechanics they've added. Shit is what I would call it. Sideswiping is the term they've used. I don't like it. I've never been a massive fan of sideswiping when it is in a game, as it's not often a car just swipes like that. But if you look at Sleeping Dogs, for example, you'll see a version of this that was done, well, 10 years prior, compared to this. Oh, poo. The turn-in is about as stiff as a priest in a nursery, and the drift they have that makes the turns easier, but isn't really fun. You don't lose speed while doing it, so you can just keep drifting. Saints Row was never really known for its driving, but it was always okay. No real complaints. The difference in cars now is from mediocre to terrible. The customization on cars is the most impressive thing they've done. Sliders on nearly everything again, which means it's good. Performance upgrades require you to complete some small tasks, which is fucking shit. Bikes they clearly didn't really account for much, as it's nearly impossible to fall off one. And when you do...
You can't hurt me!
Oh yeah? Huh, I guess you can't. They haven't even put an animation in to pick up the bike. It just kind of levitates back to life. But the difference in driving the cars, I just don't see much point. They all feel close to the same. There's stats in the corners to show you which ones are better, but seriously, it really doesn't matter. The speed increase is barely noticeable, even when you're using nitrous, and the health bars. Who asked for cars to have fucking health bars? I just get this impression I'm playing an RPG at times. There's so much shit going on and so many bars on the screen, and most of the cars take a couple of fucking bullets to die. But not when you're driving it. They'll take a fucking beating like a 60s housewife, baby. I've made that joke before and I'll say it again. The classic system for years and years of free roam games with cars of, oh, it looks a bit mashed. Oh, it's got grey smoke coming out of it now. Ah, it's black smoke. One more hit and it's gonna be fucked.
It's really fucking annoying.
It worked perfectly, but oh well, fuck that. The cars have absolutely no weight. They just fling everywhere, and any NPC with priority will smash any of them out the way, regardless of what the vehicle is. Huh? Which probably explains this. If you want to make that make sense, feel free, but other than Gorilla Glue on her fucking tires, I don't see it. I don't see it. This takes us into the next mission of stealing car parts from the Idols gang for a percentage of the business. Why? Because it's Jim Robs, baby. Get it? Pretty much a filler mission to show us the start of the business enterprises, or criminal ventures as they've called it in this horse shit. It's as you would imagine, a few small tasks for each business mixed with killing gang members nearby. They are very boring. I wouldn't bother touching them really, other than when you need to buy them to progress this god-awful story. Leave them. Anyway, back to this. Can you call it a story? Now Gwen wants us to survey the leader of the Panteros, Sergio. Good old Andy Tate. Finally, baby. A gang leader. Within the first few seconds, you get the idea that this is a fucking Mad Max ripoff, and you hop from rooftops killing boys on what seems to be a very long desert. Get used to this. I mean the rooftop thing, not Mad Max. The on-the-rooftop shooting mechanic they put in this baby pops every other fucking mission. Fucking rude. After this, you get a small boss fight, and that's it. Nothing crazy memorable. But hey, now we meet the guy who gave us a briefcase before we died. Wow, crazy twist. He is the chief of the museum, if anyone asks. And with my impressive work, Leviticus Cornwall gives us a promotion on the second day. Now we're tasked with defending the Codex, a book that is important for some reason. They never explain, like ever. It's just important. So, there we go. As you could have guessed, this ended like shit. They're just standing there.
I'm in charge here. You get access out of here, I'll secure the Codex.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful work. With it being stole by the Idols, a dubstep hipster gang kind of thing, shooting them for 10 minutes or basically abusing the aim assist again, as I did pretty much the entire game because it's just too fucking easy. You want to take a shot, buddy? You won't know until you give it a try. You just right click, left click, and dead. Seriously, like, oh man. The Idols don't have a leader. they have collectives, which is just different kind of Daft Punk helmets that display emojis. Keep in mind, that's pretty much it. The Idol Gang and a couple of collectives that are never named or anything, so it doesn't really feel very important when you kill them. Panteras, who's run by big muscly Sergio, and the Marshals, a private militia run by a few bits and bobs of goofy shit in the minigames, but these are the only real enemies you'll face all game. There's no real advantage to any faction. I'm not even going to call them gangs. I mean, even the Marshals have tanks, flying bikes, and laser guns, but they're just as powerful as the car-loving Latino guy that's using fucking claws. So after you get grilled for not managing a 100-man invasion properly on your second day, you get fired.
You are replaceable. You are replaceable. That was not.
Sir, I can lead a team to retrieve the codex.
The hell you can. You're fired.
What?
Impeccable writing. It just gets better. You get this heavy rain treatment for about 5 minutes because your dude's a bitch, like a real bitch. Kevin keeps inviting us to an idols party and we just keep pressing A.
You should come to the idols party with Eli and I later. Open bar? No?
Get up, man, you pussy!
Know that Eli and I are worried about you guys?
Oh, that's just horseshit. This game just needed a big injection of fucking testosterone. Yeah. Find food or whatever. We're sat on the sofa sulking, buying knives off TV. I'm not too sure how we already got to this point. We are only like an hour in the game. But then Nina gets a text about Sergio lighting up an idols party.
Man, I'd hate to be the idols right now. Everyone at that party's probably gonna get killed.
Sucks to be Kevin Eli.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
We gotta go.
Comedy gold, baby. Eli gets blasted while being warned about the blasting. In classic Saints Row fashion, you have to have a kind of naked mission. Oh, look how much they half-arsed the naked mission. Put some fucking clothes on if you're gonna half-arse it, man. A mission where we can see the members' dicks swinging in the wind. A mission that reminds us the goof, the personality of it. I'm still longing for those days where Oleg's skipping that big bumhole of his up those fucking steps. And after rescuing all these useless tits, we find our first idol collective.
Yes, please. None of you are getting out of here.
I mean, this is just a normal guy with a bit more armor. I think that's pretty much it. These are fucking easy! To say these guys are running the crew, so no real boss fight, just pathetic. Them being captains would have made far more sense, and having a singular boss would have been such a simple task. I'm amazed they didn't do it. On the trip back, they like to remind you that there's this mechanic they came up with. It's where you ride on the roof. Basically, what you do is you go on the roof, and because it took them more than a day to put this in, they're gonna keep doing it. I'm on the roof.
What are we gonna do?
Finish sewing you up.
Yeah, and then what?
We're starting a criminal empire.
Finally, we get on to setting up the gang, the crew, the streets.
We'll look more legit if we have a home base.
You saying we're not legit already? Oh, I love you, but I'm allergic.
Oh, for fuck's sake. The request for what a hideout needs?
Gotta be able to host some parties and have more than a fucking galley kitchen to work with.
I want to be able to set up a proper garage to work in.
I don't know, a ball pit?
Hilarious. So now we've decided on a church in a space of 10 seconds. Why? Because paying homage, baby. That's what this entire reboot has been all about.
You fucking rock.
So let's speed up. We go to the church, demolish everything outside to stop them from turning it into apartments, even though it would have taken more than 12 minutes to do so. Then after figuring out who owns the place, we hold them hostage until he gives us the deeds to the church, which now means we own the church. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Because Kevin wants to keep up with relatability, now we have to kill a fuckload of idols. Because he's a genius who gave away our location.
DJ Kev has his fans.
Clearing up the dubstep dickheads, we take a good look at this church that we stole. Finally, unveiling the Saints.
The Saints. We call ourselves the Saints.
Here's why this is poo. The introduction to the gang could have been so much cooler than a checklist and a bit of inspiration from our own HQ. Hey, we're at a church. The Angels. No, the Saints. It's just poor writing that ends up in the same place it does in every story, just a far less interesting way of doing it.
Wow, at least we've got a cool logo.
I'll take it off the whiteboard.
Welcome to the 3rd Street Saints.
But where's my cool logo? Every single Saints Row did adapt the story, regardless of how silly it got. Each installment, there was a little bit more story left behind. We were inducted, took back control, gained popularity and expanded, became the fucking president, baby. Hey, what about, no, you wait outside for a second. I can't give you the perfect situation to this, but imagine the Codex revealed the myth of the Saints Row. All their previous exploits over the years with no name or face being put to the group, and boom, you decide to be the Saints. It's not perfect. I still would like it to be about gangs, but fuck me, this codex literally has no purpose to it. It's just a book that someone said was valuable.
So that means next step is to make connections with the people that can shoot guns.
Oh, come on, man. We want this thing to be more than a street gang. We want to be an organization, an institution.
And there it is, one of my biggest issues with this Saints Row, and even issues with prior titles. Volition kept wanting these dudes to be more than a street gang, but that's not what they are. They're not celebrities, they're not a government, they're definitely not hipsters.
Now that is coffee.
The amount they wanted to steer away from this idea while forgetting what actually made it so great in the first place. The territories, the street gang. Not once in this entire game is there a mention of drugs. In this entire thing. And, you know, don't do drugs or whatever, but an entire game based around gangs and staying afloat, and no one's involved in drugs at all? Nothing? Not even a split? Now I know you're fucking joking. How many gangs do you know staying afloat from late night discos and shitty banter? After taking a brief filler mission of making contacts, just talking to the same guy who you supposedly own half of a business of anyway.
Join our new thing and no one's ever gonna mess with this garage again.
Real fucking scary. Dealing with the same Panteros for him, who stole his car parts by breaking the car parts. Are they not his car parts? Why are we breaking these? Okay, so now this takes us down the criminal ventures a little bit further, which again is fucking boring as hell. Please don't look at this. Somehow a guy leaving a folder behind means we own 19 pieces of land across the city.
Turns out the deeds of the church wasn't the only thing in there.
We are the proud owners of a shit ton of empty lots all across town.
Truthfully, I wish this guy kept that fucking folder. We jump back in with Nina's car being stolen by the Panteros due to them being pissed she didn't turn up to a party, I'm pretty sure is the reason.
Fucking Pantero stole my fucking car!
Your project car?
Yes!
They try to give the gang a bit more of character of, oh, you fuck up their car, that's just worse than killing them.
Not how it works in Los Panteros. You shoot someone in the face, they're dead. You fuck up their car, they're nothing.
So now we run around killing them anyway and blowing up their cars. The amount of health bars floating around on my screen is a clusterfuck. Don't get it. Up until we interrogate one guy by literally putting his car in a workshop and making it look like poo.
Oh, my paint job? My fucking paint job?
Wow, I'm impressed. We could have just smashed it around and made it undrivable. But no, I put a different set of mirrors on this motherfucker. And he's cracking like a boiled egg, baby.
That was my grandma's bumper.
Now, the writing can be seen as lazy by now at Eddie's standpoint, but the so-called character development in this game is appalling. Starting with this.
No! I drove that car all the way here from Guadalajara. My family's so far away, you know? It felt like I was keeping part of them with me. She never let anyone else drive that car.
Who?
My mom. But when chemo made her weak...
Fuck off. This has got to be some of the weakest character development I've ever seen. This isn't just her, it's a trend in all of them. A sad story that they tell to the character who is supposed to be one of their best friends anyway, who clearly know jack shit about them.
Let me tell you this story of when I was bullied.
Hey, shut up, bitch. It just seems like a desperate dig at some sympathies. It's just a typical sad story, no real substance to it. I mean, it's a car. I understand, you know, you love your car. One that can defy gravity at times, but it is just a car. Don't start feeding me cancer shit. My personal favourite is Kevin's. For some reason, I did the loyalty missions in this godforsaken thing, and Kevin goes with him wanting a Mecha Burger toy. Basically a Happy Meal toy, but fucking whatever. So after a few stops and a few sad stories...
Oh, I didn't have an old one. I never got one when I was a kid. It came out when I was in foster care, so, you know.
Oh.
It's just painful, isn't it? We finally get the Mecha Burger toys, and this is my favourite bit.
You are now the proud owner of 500 limited edition Mecha Burgers.
I just want one. And maybe sometime you could help me bring the rest down to the county orphanage?
Absolutely.
Please, could you help me bring them to the motherfucker, we're gangsters! I'm out here taking lives! What the fuck are we doing? These low swings to get some sympathy for the most unlikable dickheads I've seen. Awful. Let's do a quick comparison. Johnny Gat.
Fuck off.
Looking closely at these charts? Probably the only man to rival Brad Pitt for who I wish my runaway dad is. The dude lost his fucking wife by decapitation in front of him. And even when he was depressed, he was still a man that could rock those shades anyway and you respected it. These guys? Pfft. Eli just fucks around with cardboard box questlines fighting Gwen.
I'll take that crown off you next year.
Another one.
I'm not even gonna start in this one because the whole premise, you guessed it. Eli's some lonely little loser who's got no fucking friends and plays cardboard forts. Fuck that.
If Sergio's gonna fuck with my family... I'm gonna fuck with his.
So now to get revenge for the car, we visit the forge, the Pantero's main point to build their cars. I'm still a little unsure why the boss of the Pantero's car was sat in front of a fire pit, but after holding off countless hordes to get a thing on wheels 10 feet forward conveniently, it went in. Just more of the same, really. Shoot some bad guys and blow some things up. They don't really add up to much, these missions. And when the combat is this bland, I'm surprised they didn't add more variety. Nothing changes with the next one. It's a low-effort Genki remake called Doc Ketchum. Boot Hill. Yes, he does have a DLC video coming soon. Mascots everywhere. Yeah, they use the same poor excuse as Saints Row 3 of, we need to get more popularity, so props for reusing what I have already pointed out is a shit premise. I'm sorry to be so hateful for anyone that tuned in for a positive mixed retrospective, but diving into this, I just realized how much they've demolished my baby. They can say they've added small fixes, but sprinkling a turd is still a turd. Cyberpunk, a game that had a horrendous release, at least it made an effort to fix the game.
Hi God, it's me, Keanu Reeves. Can you please fix this game for me?
In this, I just don't see it.
Stop bitching, pussy. Do the game.
Fine, but it works. Recruits are fucking pouring in.
People who are watching, they want to learn from the master.
You know what that means.
We got recruits?
We got recruits.
We got recruits.
Ah, God, the cutscenes are so bad. Who's that into coffee? You want to know what's cool? Start shooting up those fucking needles. Now, this next mission opens with Kevin and his waffle tattoo. Is that a waffle? George Foreman, bitch. Did he make waffle makers? If you've played Saints Row 3 and made the decision to save Shaundy, you've done this mission, because it is the same thing but with lower stakes. They mix it up by making you go to an old western bar where all the local ravers love to go.
Where the fuck is Kevin?
The fist fighting combat is just like punching a bag of straw. They don't really fight back. In a game where it's truly easy as piss, they've made it even easier with executions. No NPC will attack you. They all sit there and just fucking stare at you. And it heals you, so it makes it nearly impossible to be killed. Anyway, this mission drags it out.
Someone in here. Fuck off.
Introduces the towing mechanic. Essentially, anything behind you gets lynched and dragged along like this dude in a toilet stall. Steve-O beat you to it, bud. I don't really mind that they added it, I guess. Cool idea. Just, again, same with the cars. Nothing has any weight to it. What? So it can be a shipping container or a cactus. They all have the weight of a fucking ponytail. Back to this shit, as I said, same thing. We march upstairs, shoot a load of people. Nothing new, the music they slam in the background is just whatever upbeat shit they could come up with. I defuse some bombs, free this bitch. Then we're like, hey, guy with no shirt, get your wingsuit and let's fucking do this. Completely shooting up a party that they were having directly across the street. Like really that close. And killing another idol collective, which doesn't really feel like much, but I'll mention it. But hey, it's game night!
I don't like it, Eli.
Yeah, no doubt. This fucker's hogging all the sloths.
Okay, well, it's a night. After some poor jokes and a weird child's ball game that you need to remember. I'm not kidding. Remember this fucking thing. We decided to rob a train, but first we need to free the Nawali to help us rob the train. Now, I know what you're thinking. Man, this was conjured up quick. You have no fucking idea.
There's a bunch of ways we can get some quick cash. All right, so what? We rob a bank?
No. We rob a train.
A top-tier murder machine to help me out.
You want to break out the Nawali, don't you?
Assuming he hasn't been extrajudicially murdered by now, yes?
If you're struggling on the story at this point, I know, just hang in there. Trust me, it gets worse. The amount this dude says murder as well, like, just say kill, shoot, I don't know, I wouldn't fucking mind, man, but it's every 2 minutes with this guy, and murder.
Brutally murder.
So now we're wingsuiting into a prison to free one of the most wanted terrorists, which I guess didn't require any extra men for the fully armed base, but fuck it. This is where they introduce stealth. And man, just like what you would have thought when I said the word fucking stealth, it is awful. After Volition looked at all kinds of stealth games over the years, Metal Gear Solid, Assassin's Creed, Hitman, and me sneaking in to give Brad Pitt a big old kiss. This didn't take any of that. You just walk past them? Oh, he stopped looking. And if you're caught, you get a massive gunfight. Oh wait, no, it restarts. That my bad. We reached Nawali, and he's like, yeah, cool, no worries. And again, auto aim, and some auto aim. Why the fuck is it on mouse and keyboard, man? Christ. Seriously, this part isn't complete dog shit. I always had something for busting out of prisons, but the AI is letting any of these decent moments down. We bust out of here to share a burger with our boy, and he's on board. Now we plan for the train heist, possibly stealing high-tech military equipment, maybe recruiting more members for the team, as a shirtless chef doesn't really do much here.
Never mind. It's your turn to get donuts.
So now we're waiting in a queue for a fucking donut with just more dog shit dialogue.
I should probably avoid the carbs.
Until bam bap, we get shot up and it's quickly discovered we're on the Wanted app. Pretty self-explanatory. Hitman on your phone, just extra cash. Nothing really game for completing them. You don't get any kind of special equipment.
Oh wow, $5 grand.
Kevin, being the Instagram whore he is, just happens to know the guys who own the Wanted app.
Wait, what?
So after a quick resolution, we hold off against the Horde once again. The AI, I know I've mentioned this before, but the AI is so fucking bad. The game is painfully easy. I'm on normal because that's what a normal fucking person does. But to call this normal, does that look right to you? Those little meat brains have got nothing going on up there. Saints Row has never been known for its state-of-the-art AI, but man, this really is next level. 3 and 4's AI were slow and clumsy, but at least it could get close calls out of me. 1 and 2 were just that perfect level of easy enough to kill, yet still very satisfying. There's no such thing here. Oh, hey! Just chipping down another dummy with a health bar. Shooting the cars feels the exact same as shooting the people. There's no real difference. Next up, we're finally linking up with the gang, baby. The crew. And I'm serious here, fellas. Enjoy these few minutes of that tiny amount of gangster nostalgia that you were so desperate for, baby. I'm telling you, this is it.
Thanks. Your training video on the weak points of different models really helped.
Oh. This is one of the few times I think you even converse with your gang, let alone fight with them. It is for precisely a minute before they remind you. Roof shooting mechanic. Hey, by the way, I forgot to mention, remember that mechanic where you can shoot from the roof? That's it. Your crew robbed the truck, you draw away the heat. These short, uninteresting filler missions are just fucking tiresome. I can't believe that is the only time you're ever going to see the gang. So now I have enough filler between this shit, finally the train heist planning.
So, shall we plan the heist?
No.
I thought you called me here because you wanted to prepare for the robbery.
Correct.
So we are planning the heist?
No.
Team building.
What?
Look, you don't know us, we don't know you, but we're putting our lives in each other's hands, so we need to be on the same page. Eli threw out the idea that we should spend a day doing some team building exercises. You know, so we can really get a sense of camaraderie.
We have hats.
What's your plan for robbing this train, Dutch? Don't worry, Arthur. We just got a plan. We just gotta go on a picnic, Arthur. Just one more picnic, Arthur. There's no actual setup for this heist, just the idea that we're gonna do it. We get a whole mission in an RV, just doing activities with good I mean gang members. The gang holding off occasional waves, stealing a hover bike that steers like a solid 2-day outside in the winter log of poo. Defending the RV in this part, really fucking fun, because you're on a bike that flies. But at least it brought these hard thugs together as a crew.
Thanks for dinner, Kev. It was great.
Thanks, man. The marinade does all the work.
You're too modest.
Drive safe.
Thank you. And please, make Kev wear a shirt.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Finally, the train heist. It's here. It's on. The Panteros. The Marshals. Actually, I don't think the idols are in there. But still, fucking on this. Right after we gift a grown man an expensive knife I bought him. I know it's strange, even if you're a woman. It would be strange.
Before the whole Saints thing got started, I got depressed and ordered a whole lot of knives.
This is pretty much the big mission of the game, and can I just say, even on the standard of this game, what a fucking letdown this is. And that is saying something. There is no robbery of any kind, no taking of anything. We just keep killing people and moving up a train. I even had a glitch on me. I was looking around for like 10 minutes trying to figure out what to do, as after the 4th door of continuous enemies, I figured there would be some kind of objective in mind. But no, it was just, the door didn't work. Where the fuck do I go here? So after a 5-second contemplation on life, what do I do? What do I do? And a hefty suicide. Fucking Christ. We're back at it. Epic jumps, more jumps, jumping. We're jumping. And here we encounter what has to be the strongest enemy in the game by far. The WNBA player. These bitches be laying on some heat. This beast is insane. Oh, you thought it would be Sergio? The guy they've been prepping for this whole game to be the big boss? Yeah, Nawali killed him in a cutscene. Okay, so just to be clear, no gang leaders whatsoever in this game.
What about the idol collector?
They don't fucking count! The train heist turns into a tank train battle fury thing, and I'm not really sure what we're robbing at this point. Some money? Surely a bank would be easier. I can't really see any of my teammates helping me other than the Mexico man. After it all goes to plan, was there a plan? Who knows? We get rescued by our new best bud. Peak Saints Row, I gotta say. The action in this mission, not half as good as Bullet Train, alright? Brad Pitt, baby. I'm talking going for a train, but as Brad Pitt. Not some weird little ginger... That's me, hang on, that's me. This was built up and let down so fast. I know from the disappointment from the game, it seems almost acceptable, but it's rough. Rough, fellas. I've never been so bored robbing a train before. Red Dead Redemption, hold on a minute. I know, a big title to compare, but the simplicity of robbing a train in that game is made insane. They don't just make it an aimbot fest in 5 sections that look the exact same. Now that the heist has been wrapped up, and we get absolutely no credit at all.
Because word on the street is that the Nawali was a one-man wrecking crew. The Saints didn't get any shine from the heist.
We move on to the next criminal mastermind plan for the Saints. That gangster shit, homie.
We steal the Hummingbird Codex. Marshall wanted to protect it. Panteros and the Idols wanted to steal it. And if it wasn't for that fucking book, we wouldn't have formed the Saints. It should be ours.
I like it.
Yep, you didn't hear that wrong. We're robbing a book. Because everyone else wanted a book. A book. What is this shit? Just put an idol helmet dickhead with an actual name in it with a few lines that indicates he should be killed, and it would be severely better than this. I mocked the writing for Saints Row 3 and 4 pretty hard. There isn't even any effort in this to make it enjoyable or even possible. It just happens. Events just happen. Where should we get a base? Oh, this church I found. Well, what logo should we use? What about this one before that I just happened to see? Shit just happens because they said so and haven't even bothered to give it a half-arsed explanation.
Actually, if you look at what the Saints did...
I will kill you! We track it down, finding the book and... Oh, booby trap. Now go to the other side of the map. That's how you make a 5-minute mission. 10 minutes, baby. We get on this boat and steal the real one.
Oh no, another idol collective.
Escaping on a boat with the same shooting mechanic you would have seen 8 or 9 times already at this point. But this one's got bust the rams. It doesn't help that the guns in this shit are flat throughout the whole thing. No need to upgrade much other than the AK. Plus they require challenges. You can't really experiment much with upgrades on weapons unless you've used them constantly already. So it's going to be a one weapon kind of game. I could literally grip an entire dick in previous games. A whole dick. Taking souls, baby. I can't even rob the fucking store anymore. What the shit is this about? Now before we can go have our big party that answers the question of what most people forgot of why am I buried, a Marshall lawyer comes round. You know he's Marshall. Would you take a look at that hat? Apparently because we signed one thing when we started our job, Marshall owns the Saints. The efficient tax-paying organization that is the Saints.
Cause you got a good life!
With this 2-minute hiccup in the story, we fight for the altar. I mean the Marshall base. We fight for the Marshall to find an old bitch who doesn't have any significance to anything, who wants to replace Marshall.
That man has been a bee in my bonnet for a long time.
So we get tasked with running down the stock prices by committing terrorist acts in Marshall vehicles, then make the conscious decision to join their next meeting.
What the hell do you think you're doing?
You're just in time for the vote.
Finally. Finally, baby, we may not have a gang leader, but at least we got a fucking son boss that we can kill. Woo-hoo! I've been waiting for this.
Finally, baby.
But this is dog shit. I shot him. Why? Because it doesn't even matter. Either way you shoot him or not, these people, oh, you know, we need a new management. No difference in the decision. No one cares. Saints Row 2 alone. The Mero fight was fucking chaos. Mr. Sunshine was one of the most memorable motherfuckers I've ever seen. And the Japanese Empire that the Yakuza wouldn't even fucking face. How do these compare? I'm so upset, man. This video has ended a behemoth rant from myself. I'm sorry, children. But the sin of actually playing this, can it be redeemed? Probably not. But this is the party. The mission. The start of the game that no one remembers, with all those moments that could make a socially awkward teenager never want human contact again. But nevertheless, a plot twist in this dull mess that they already told you about.
I always viewed friends as a liability, a weakness. But I was wrong. Seeing you with Kev, Nina, Eli, they really make you stronger.
Yeah, they really do.
I want to know what that feels like.
Well, let's go. Why?
Well, because I cannot live your life if you are still breathing.
Take them. Some of the lamest people I've ever seen in my life. Kevin should be shot. That's all. Someone just shoot Kevin. Someone shoot Kevin, please. This weird history God of War thing is played out. I just don't really know what to say. It's a complete mess. Let's skip ahead to that farm game we saw once for 10 seconds. Haha! Remember? Remember when I told you to remember it? Because this beauty will stumble up the beautiful list of some of the worst missions I've ever fucking played.
Hey, what am I doing?
They set it up as if something's gonna happen, and then it does. And you almost wish you were back collecting fucking llamas. They don't do anything, these little things, wooden things.
Now you're dead, and everything you built is mine. Your friends are mine, your empire is mine, the saints are all mine.
Like hell, they are.
There's the cat.
We undertaker these motherfuckers, brush off the stab wounds, and make our way to save our friends who have been kidnapped. Fucking kidnapped. I'm not even talking tied up, Afghanistan kidnapped. I'm talking sitcom set for real. This piece of shit.
Upset.
You think?
I do not like to see you upset.
Well, maybe you should have thought of that before.
Nina, please.
Not gonna sit here and act surprised. Also not gonna start asking why your main fucking gangster captains are not just pussies in every light.
I'm coming for you, motherfucker.
Good. It'll save me some time.
He put a shirt on Kevin and a tie on Eli. We go back to where this game started for the big showdown. Nawali sets out all these goons who are no different from any other enemy in the game.
I've just killed like 10 guys. These are just... No one's really doing anything here.
We fight the same group of enemies in 4 different locations, tracking these useless tits. I mean, it's really just dragging out the last mission for no reason other than it isn't long enough. It then introduces you to a top 3 contender of the most wholesome cutscenes I've ever seen.
Things are going back to the way they were. Look out!
Oh, anyone want to give me a hand?
Don't you see? You were
Anyone
never
want to fucking
meant
help
to
me?
protect them.
You don't get it. They don't need my help. I need theirs.
That's fucking terrible.
Bit of bondage. Give him a bit of bondage, Eli.
How do you need them? The cat helped me before. Were they just watching me get strangled? They just must have seen an execution and fucking froze. They've had some belter cutscenes in this video, may I say, but this is up there. They fully embraced the sitcom as well. Like, why the fuck are they sat on a set? This is the one and only boss fight. Through all the complaints, they did just give us one, boys. They did give us one. It's strange he just kind of runs by you. I don't really know how to handle it.
He's fucking gone. I got you now. He's fucking darting.
And then it finishes with a helicopter face-off. I could talk you through it, but it's boring. And that's it.
It's an easy bail.
That's the game. The developers must have said, how do we make it more tense? Western, baby. One click. One fucking click.
Is that it? I guess so.
You ruined every...
As you can tell from the music, we've won. And just like that, he's done. Saints Row is done. Thank God. Spoke too soon.
Terror aside,
Spoke too soon.
today was a good day.
Yes, sir, it was. I'm really sorry, guys.
About what? You saved our ass.
It was also my idea to get the Nawali's help in the first place.
No one could have predicted that much crazy.
Bad hires happen. It's okay.
No. If anything happened to you guys,
Hey, we love you.
I love you guys too.
That's because we're fucking awesome.
Shut up! So to break it down, he wanted our friends for himself. I mean, everyone could see the betrayal coming, it's obvious. Imagine it was Eli who betrayed you, and it turns out he's some fucking lunatic evil mastermind. How much more interesting would that be? Oh, the guy you arrested then made friends with to rob a train for 10 minutes? He wants your friends for himself, and so fuck you, die. And we make our own sitcom. No sense. It's just bad writing all round. I understand they got a lot of heat from Deep Silver, but Christ, man, at what point can we say that's not an excuse for this drooling mess of a game?
What about the secret ending?
The secret ending? Don't talk to me about the fucking secret ending. I don't want to hear about this shit. $8 million for the Saints Row Tower that gives you this. Do you know how long it takes to make $8 million? Hours! I'm embarrassed to call this one of my favorite franchises, in case someone's going to assume I have Rent I missed and Coffee I haven't finished.
I know, it's great, right?
Another!
Who the fuck wants this? The map itself, you'll only enjoy to an extent, as the desert effect does get old fast. And the music that goes along with the map is just, it's so boring and shit. This royalty-free garbage shit that's not even royalty-free. Who paid for this? The amount of memorable songs from Saints Row 2, even 3, but for this to be that much of a letdown, what the fuck am I listening to? And any desire to explore the actual map is made mundane as fuck from the cars. They have added little scenarios here and there just to make it more alive, which I can appreciate, but when game companies have beaten you to the punch 13 years prior, it hardly seems like something worth praising. The perks and abilities added, just why? More screens you never really need to look at that just makes it even easier. If you have 2 whole hands, it's already a breeze. I just think that if they would have gone the route of a more traditional street game, and not this hipster user-friendly mess, they might have actually reeled in their true fan base again. With the closing of Volition, fans are hurt, but with the release of this stone-cold turd, it definitely softened the blow, boys. If you miss this big old bitch as much as I do, then you might want to think about going back and playing this beast. Don't. Buy an Xbox, smack on some NAS, and play some good old Saints Row 2, baby!
Living life you be, look at your situation, you can show